Let's see what's happening with the Dunkin' Donuts worker strike.
Dunkin' Donuts workers strike. Oh boy, oh boy.
We are
There is no way they didn't pick this poor girl and this specific frame for this on purpose. Because like, if this is the face of your like protest, then already people are gonna assume, ugh, like they did this shit on purpose to try and make him look bad.
we are protesting the fact that they actually put a kiosk up in front of the Dunkin' Donuts to replace the cashiers that are there. You can see
I mean, kiosks don't protest. They don't go on strike, so
Welcome to the future.
yeah.
the writing.
It's like Asmongold has said this before. It's like and I kind of mostly agree with him. A lot of work is going to get automated to the point that it's no longer going to be viable for everybody to have a job. Like a lot of people are just not going to be employable because it's not going to make sense to employ them over just using a machine. And when that happens, it's either going to be a universal basic income or, a lot of people are going to have to be employed by the government, and the government's just going to have to find busy work for them, basically, to keep them employed and to pay them something. But at that point, just give them a universal income, which as we are now, it's not viable, but eventually it might be. We'll see.
On the wall for a reduction in workforce, and I think that's the thing that we're looking out for. They've already installed QR codes on the table, and we are worried that the next step is a tablet. Next step could even be a robot one day, and we need to be able to have a.
It could be a robot. No, it
It
will
will
be a
be.
robot.
Yeah. Yeah, eventually, all of this work that isn't particularly complex, where you're just, pouring coffee into a cup, right? Eventually, you're not really going to need a person doing that. Right now, you do, but eventually you won't. And I don't think that there's anything that 90% of people can do to get ahead of that, because 90% of people do not have the mental faculties or the aptitude to work the jobs that cannot be replaced. And it's not even just about them being dumb. It's like some people just have no interest in being a fucking programmer, right? Some people that have no interest in working the jobs that can't be replaced by AI. They like working at a restaurant. They like working at Dunkin' Donuts, or some people only have the skills to work at Dunkin' Donuts. So eventually there'll have to be a solution.
Yeah. Flippy is inevitable.
Hmm.
Say in the workplace,
If we allow automation in, it's just going to take customer
Dude, come on. There's never going to be a time where you can stop automation from entering.
service, away. It's going to take
That's the goal. Yeah. That's the point.
If instead of employing 8 people, you can employ 2 people and 6 robots, why not just get the 6 robots, right? You're paying fewer people. Maybe you need one person to work on the robot. So like instead you're employing 3 people and 6 robots. And you're paying the guy who works on the robots the salary of 2 or 3 people instead. And you're saving money, and it's fine. And eventually it won't be a problem. But right now, yeah, we're going through growing pains. We are experiencing the rise of automation, or the new rise of automation, because there was the industrial revolution, right, where a bunch of people went from the farms to working at factories, and eventually those people got replaced in the factories because the machines just did it better, and those people started working to maintain the machines. But instead of having 20 people working the factory line, you have 5 or 10 people working on keeping the machines working. And eventually, we did the same thing for the restaurant business, or we're going to do the same to the restaurant business, where instead of having 12 people working, where 6 are in the kitchen, 6 are in the front, you're going to have 8 people working, 6 in the kitchen, 2 in the front, and then you're going to have machines doing a lot of the work. It's already the case here in Europe to some extent, right? So yeah, I understand the protest. I understand why people are mad, but it's like you're not going to stop them. It's more profitable to just fire the lot of you and get robots to do it. And it's not even because it's not even that they're being fired because of the protest. It's just like, yeah, you're being phased out.
Please. Please work faster on it.
Service out of customer service, and that's not what people want.
They hate
It's
workers.
not what people want.
They don't hate workers. They just don't care.
Who decided that? I want it. I do. I think that working a service industry job like this is not a good use of a person's time.
Agreed.
And I think that people could do something that's more fulfilling to them personally and to live out their existence in a way that's more fulfilling and more meaningful. I don't think working in a Dunkin' Donuts is that.
I think some people enjoy it, right? Some people enjoy working the service industry, and to those people, more power to them, right? And I think it should be a possibility. I think it should be a possibility to work the service industry, to like serve coffee to people, serve donuts to people, serve food to people, because some people just like doing that. And at the same time, these major corporations are always going to want to go for maximum profit, and maximum profit is going to come from automation, from using robots, from using all this other stuff. So it's just it's not that you can stop it. You can't. There's nothing you can do.
They hate us so much that they want to automate us away.
They should not have interviewed this person at all.
They
Of
hate
course
us.
they hate you. Why would they not hate you? They have to
don't
give
hate
you money.
They don't hate you. They don't care about you. That like you're a drain on their expenses to some expense, but they don't really care.
Why would they want to give you money? Do you want to give somebody money? There's a random person. Do you want to give that person money? Of course not. You want to just have it happen.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, they don't
more
care.
than
They don't hate
love
you.
their profits.
They hate us more than they love their profits?
My guy, no. They don't care about you at all. You don't factor into the equation at all. They care about the profits, and they're going to chase the profits. And that's what this is. They're just increasing their profit margins a little bit.
No. They hate you because they love their profits. This is the exact kind of person that I would imagine striking Dunkin' Donuts.
I am an anarchist, so like
Oh my God, fucking! Why did you interview this person? This person has nothing This person has nothing useful to say. They're just so ideologically possessed. They can't even see the world in front of them. Like, look at her fucking eyes. They're completely glazed over.
yeah, I do believe that like hierarchies and like places of power like cause violence.
For anybody who believes in anarchy, anarchy is the law of violence. All right. So this idea that like hierarchy causes violence, you're an idiot, because anarchy is the devolution into violence. It's like if there is no law, then the strongest person rules, and at that point, women have no rights, minorities have no rights. Only the majority people in power have rights. That's it. Everybody else exists to serve them. That's anarchy. That's what anarchy is. So this person going is like, I'm an anarchist, and the hierarchy causes violence. No, the hierarchy prevents violence. This person's an idiot. They shouldn't have interviewed this person at all. They should have started talking to this person. Okay, we're gonna go talk to somebody else now. Goodbye, and just
And
glazed
that's
over.
pretty much all they do.
Do you think that profit over people is going to last forever, or do you think that late-stage capitalism is just going to death spiral so hard that we have to?
Those donuts look delicious, though. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I would eat the fuck out of those donuts.
Is going to last forever, or do you think that late-stage?
Like, you put all of these in front of me, I'm gonna eat all of these. I'm gonna eat all of these bitches, all of them.
Capitalism is just going to death spiral so hard that we have to ultimately kind of level the playing field and create a new society.
No.
Well, some people have to get shot.
But you don't understand that it's always going to be you. It's always going to be you when you call for this type of violence. It's always going to be the person that talks. It's going to be the person who's loud and getting in front of people. Ugh, idiot.
Developing
Idiot.
news today.
But it's not you. People love saying stuff like that because they think it's never going to be them.
But
right?
it's always them.
Like, everybody likes saying this kind of stuff because they assume that when this happens, it's all going to happen to somebody else, or somebody else is going to have to do it. Yeah, that's always what it happens. Anarchists complaining about violence.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, like straight up, an anarchist saying like violence bad. It's like, my guy, your entire ideology requires violence.
there's some countries and
Demands
the
it.
first thing in an anarchist society that happens is somebody takes it over and makes it non-anarchist. Like, you know,
Yep.
maybe we could have him or her, I don't know what it is, go over to go over and join Joseph Kony's army. How about
Looks
that?
like a girl.
That sounds like a really
I
good
don't care.
time.
Out of New York City, where the CEO of United
Wait,
Health.
what was that?
That sounds like a really good time.
All it takes is one warlord. Step 1, anarchy. Step 2, feudalism. Exactly. It's exactly what I said, right? You establish an anarchy, first thing that happens, the biggest, baddest dude takes over. Boom, you no longer have anarchy, now you have a feudalism. And it's always the same shit. You establish anarchy, within a week, women and minorities have no rights. Within a week. Because there's no more laws. Like, what is stopping the biggest, most powerful group from just taking everything over? And it's never going to be this person. This person is part of the weakest, wimpiest group ever. It's never going to be you in charge. It's never going to be you getting the benefits of anarchy. Anarchy is the worst fucking ideology you could have if you want what's best for everybody.
Of New York City, where the CEO of United Healthcare was shot and killed in broad daylight. It's
Yeah.
believed he was targeted, but it's unclear why.
No, it's not. Come on.
I hope it's not me.
Yeah.
Did you know that every Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
What
yeah.
a stupid,
Okay.
stupid person.
Especially since most of them don't own guns. Yeah, I think that the
Also, yeah, like you take one look at that person, they're probably anti-gun, they're probably anti-Second Amendment, anti all of these different things that give power to the people and all that shit. It's like,
mindset of that is it's so just not realistic. It's just not. I'm an anarchist, but not on some weird political shit. I just don't care about the laws. Oh, well, yeah, of course, right? But like that's not the same thing.
75.9 million Americans use
Yeah.
airports like Phoenix Sky Harbor to travel to go see family elsewhere in the world. It's crazy, right? It's a big week. But guess what? There's a lot of beef right now at the airport. You know why?
Hundreds of restaurants and concession employees on strike, planning to
Are you
continue.
telling me about a fucking airport where you guys spend $18 to get a drink?
yeah, nobody gives a shit about the workers at the airport because of this thing that Asmongold just talked about. Like, you're at the airport, you want a bottle of water, and it's fucking $10. And that's if it's cheap, because, like, everything is super expensive at the airport. Why? The only reason to do that is to take advantage of the consumer. Consumer doesn't give a shit about you. They don't like you because you've ensured that you fuck them over every time you interact. So, like, no, they're not. They want nothing to do with you at all. Not even a little bit. They don't care. They don't like you. They do not want anything to do with you at all. If as far as the consumer cares, right? If all the employees were fired and it was all automated, but now the consumer goes in and it's, a bottle of water is $1, a donut is $2. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, push the button every time. Every time. Every consumer is going to make this decision. Consumers have no moral obligation towards the retail workers.
You telling me they're striking over there?
their protest tomorrow.
And because of this, restaurants and concessions will be shut down. The workers with HMS Host, a vendor operating many of the restaurants and coffee shops inside the terminal.
See, Flippy would never do that. He would never protest. Flippy does not even have the word union programmed into his language model. He doesn't even know it exists. He'll work on Christmas. He doesn't care. He's happy. Flippy is pro-consumer. He is.
Say it's time for their demands to be met.
The workers say they want what most American workers want. That's the ability to keep food on their table. And
Yes, people want to be able to afford food, but God, there's a sneeze stuck in my nose. People want to be able to afford food, but the thing that a lot of these workers don't understand is that when you work at a place that constantly increases prices and it's your face there, and then you keep asking for more money, that money is going to come out of the consumer. That money is going to come out of the consumer. The consumer doesn't give a shit about you. The consumer wants to, afford their food, right? The consumer wants their food to be affordable, and they want to not have to constantly worry about, prices going up. And if you're constantly demanding an increase of your salary, that just means an increase to the consumer's own. That just increases the price that the consumer has to pay to get their product. And no consumer wants that. And so, yeah, of course the consumer isn't going to like you. And so the consumer wants nothing to do with you. And then on top of that, the place that is most expensive for no reason, by the way, people want nothing to do with you anymore. You're complaining that, oh, we're not getting enough money. Okay, you should be getting less money. As far as the consumer cares. It's the same thing with AI art. If the AI art is good, the consumer doesn't care. Problem is, AI art is currently not good. I make a choice personally for not supporting AI art as well. Like I try to stay away from it. I try not to use it. Sure, I don't like it. I don't like the implications of it. I don't think it's a good use of generative intelligence. I don't like it. But at the same time, I understand that most people don't give a shit.
roof over their heads.
Then
Employees.
think about that and stop thinking about trying to keep these shitty fucking jobs on life support.
Yep.
They're thinking about it from the complete wrong direction. If none of these people had to worry about like paying money, if like everybody just if you received the same amount of money every month, regardless of whether you went to this job or not, I bet 99% of these people would never go to the job.
Yeah. I think it would be a lot different, though. I think if you got paid no matter what, people wouldn't really have a problem with the job itself, because then you get to be with your friends, you get to be with the manager who isn't like constantly on your ass because it's not their paycheck as well, right? So it'd be a lot different. It would be a lot different. Then again, if everything is automated and there's no need to steal, there's no need to do any of that, like, yeah, I don't think anybody would have a problem with not working there. Then again, I don't think anybody would have a problem working there either. So it's one of those things where it's hard to know for sure.
So you don't care about the job. You don't give a fuck about the job. You care about the money.
Want better pay, healthcare, and retirement
exactly.
plans, especially after the pandemic.
It's just become very clear that we've gotten to a point where the things that we are asking for are falling on dead ears with the company, with HMS.
But
it's because they're losing bargaining power too. The employees have no bargaining power anymore because all of the company executives know that they're just going to replace these people with robots soon. So who cares about what they think and who cares how they feel?
HMS Host paints a different picture, claiming it's offering 12% raises and better benefits, and in a statement says the strike, quote, serves to hurt the traveling public and the HMS Host associates who continue to work during this difficult time.
So, we're going to go to a protest, specifically a Phoenix Sky Harbor food service anti-automation protest. We're going to meet up with some Dunkin' Donuts employees that...
There is nothing less valuable than unskilled, uneducated labor.
Nothing less valuable from the perspective of a corporate overlord, right? Like, the corporate overlord isn't going to care. There is value in that person right now because, at the end of the day, you do need somebody working that job, and you'd rather have somebody who is reliable. Problem: the more that person protests, the less reliable they're going to appear. So at that point, right? Like at that point, I as the corporate overlord stop caring about you. I stop wanting you here. I start looking for ways to get rid of you.
It like that's what a horse does. Those are the people that are going to get replaced as fast as possible. Low skill, no education labor. That's it. Bro, that's why I just told you. No, I'm just saying, right? Like, yeah. I can understand why they're fighting for their livelihood. No, I know, I get it. Like, I mean, it's easy.
Obviously, people are going to fight for their livelihood. It's easy for people not involved in the medium to say, yeah, no, nobody cares about how you feel about this, because it's true. Nobody other than themselves is going to care about this. But they are obviously going to care about it. Like, why the hell would they not?
Easy to understand why they're doing it. Yeah, of course.
May or may not be being replaced by robots in the near future. And we want to ask some of the employees about how they feel robots pose an existential threat to the American working class.
My name is Winona Rue, and I work at the Dunkin' Donuts in Terminal 4. Okay. There's 2 kiosks, like, at the front. No one really uses them, but the way it works really sucks, and it's like less efficient.
I love how they're playing this music as if this is some like 70s like sci-fi movie. Oh my god, there's a kiosk, and then you have to go in there and you have to click on the buttons, and then it's like, oh my fucking god.
Than just going up and ordering.
Yeah.
They don't even put the work into the kiosks that they need to have them operate properly, if at all.
Okay, so the problem is that the kiosks don't operate properly. So just make the kiosks operate properly, and then just fire all the workers. That's what that one was complaining about. So yeah, let's do that. Transitioning from horses to cars made everything cheaper. Same will happen with AI. It'll be expensive at first. Competition will lower prices. Competition is key. Exactly, right? A lot of these people are complaining because they don't understand that the more things get automated, the cheaper everything else becomes. Minimum wage jobs are for no skill, no education workers because they require no real skill. Exactly. And a lot of these people are complaining. And by the way, like this girl here, interviewing this girl just made the entire strike look bad. Like, she's just an anarchist with no idea what the result of anarchist is. She was talking about somebody gonna need to get shot without realizing that it's always going to be, people like her who are protesting. It's like, it's completely idiot, right? She had no business being interviewed. She had no business being given the platform to speak. But what a lot of the people who are protesting fail to understand is that, like, at the end of the day, this is kind of unavoidable. You can complain, you can kick, you can scream, you can do all these things. It's still going to happen in the end. And when it does, eventually, with the rise of automation, with the rise of, AI, as we call it, which is really just machine learning algorithms, we get to the point where yes, we can replace the worker that is, flipping the burgers. A full-on restaurant will almost never be automatable. It just, isn't possible. People shouldn't say minimum wage jobs, and the way to get out of those jobs is to get skills and education. Minimum wage jobs are not meant to be something you do for the rest of your life. Yeah, I do think that it should be possible for somebody to do a minimum wage, a quote unquote low skill job for their whole life, simply because I do think that it's good for everybody involved if the person working at McDonald's is happy, right? But at the same time, I do understand it's like, if you want to improve your lot in life, you need to move on from McDonald's. At the same time, I don't think you should feel like you can't afford to live off of working at McDonald's. I think if you're working a job, if you're working full time, you should be able to afford to live off of it. But the problem of that is that with the inflating costs of everything in the US, it is becoming near impossible to live, especially in large cities, unless you work 2 jobs pretty much. Move up in McDonald's. Yeah. Get skills to stop being just the burger flipper. The burger flippers are actually paid well enough. It's the cashiers that suffer. They just group up and form their own anti-technology settlements like the Amish. Honestly, I do think that that's going to happen more and more as technology increases. Like we're speeding towards a very cyberpunk-esque civilization, especially in the US, with everything like being so ultra feudalist capitalist, and just everything is all about what the corporations want, more so than what is beneficial for the people. So a lot of people are attracted to homesteading. Yes, yes, they are, and it's a good way to live, right? Like you get your own property in the middle of nowhere. If you know how to hunt, you know how to forage, you know how to take care of yourself. Yeah, you can live very comfortably like that. It's a hard life, but it's also a comfortable life. Like you don't get to sit down at the end of the day and just fucking play video games or watch TV. You are working from dawn to dusk every time, every single day. You want something done, you got to do it yourself. But at the same time, it does bring a certain level of satisfaction. You're working for yourself.
It's making our job harder because there's all kinds.
By the way, we're talking about this, right? Yeah, you don't go hungry. Exactly. We're talking about this. Not a single one of the people who have been shown so far, who have been interviewed so far, would survive that. Every single one of those people would be dead after a week.
Kinds of stuff in the system that we don't have, or that we do have that's not available, and the prices are wrong, and it just makes our job.
This woman's bringing up a really great point,
Yes.
and I think that what she's saying is completely accurate. She's saying that the on-hand demand for different items isn't accurate in the kiosk, and I think that she's 100% right in what she's saying.
This person, if the person who owns the Dunkin' Donuts being protested is smart, they'll bring this person in, they'll probably promote her, eventually phase out all the other people, and keep this one lady here to make sure, because she's the only person so far who has a good head on her shoulders. They don't want money, they want what the money gives them. Food, rent, etc. Exactly. People just want to be taken care of, or be able to take care of themselves. Or so Homestead Rescues, pretty good. They help people build thermal gardens and wells. Pretty interesting. Yeah. I think eventually we're gonna go more and more towards that, as we have Elon Musk working on space expansion and all that stuff. But eventually, once we figure out space expansion, like living space is going to become infinite, right? Everybody's going to have more than enough space to live at. And so long as we're able to take care of people's needs, i.e., food, water, entertainment, as well as shelter, like shelter was kind of implied, but like most of these jobs are just going to be phased out. Like nobody's going to care. People are just going to homestead. If your job is not paying enough, start looking for another job that can provide what you need. And if that job has a certain skill requirement, do what is needed to get the skills. Not saying it's easy. Oh, it's not. It's not easy at all. It's not easy at all. It's like I worked at Microsoft, right? And I was working at Microsoft and getting a lot of money for it, but I was not feeling fulfilled doing it. I feel far more fulfilled doing what I'm doing now, even if I'm not getting paid. But I had to work at Microsoft for those 2 to 3 years. It was 3 years, in order to have the ability to even now attempt what I'm doing now here. So it's like, yeah. And at the same time, sometimes you just got to work the shit job until you have the skills or the means to pursue what you actually want to do. It's just what you got to do.
Saying completely accurate and actually misleading. Yeah, it's a logistics issue. Yeah, it is.
So much harder than just actually going to the table and talking to people ourselves.
They'll send an order through on the kiosk, and it'll just silently pop up on our screen. So we won't even, unless we're actively looking at it, we're not going to know about it.
Okay, but like you should be actively looking at it.
Just sit around like wondering why there's people in the lobby, and we're like, oh, there's a order. Yeah.
If you're just sitting around and you know that there's this screen that shows you the orders and you're not looking at it, I'm sorry. If I'm your boss and I see this interview, you're fired. I'm getting somebody else.
it's really not efficient.
They're down more often than they are usable. They are
Also,
not
somebody
not
punch the fuck out of that one.
They're down more often than they are usable. They are not connected to any of our computers at Dunkin' Donuts, so we have no idea what anybody orders. And then they'll come up to us all angry with a receipt.
I have a roofing company. You work at Dunkin' Donuts. Who the fuck is being ignorant? I made $350,000 last year. I'm fucking ignorant.
It's frustrating on both.
I mean, yeah, if you're calling people ignorant, they have every right to crash the fuck out. Also, that is a hilarious face.
Just go lay down, fat ass.
Have you made your holiday list? Well, Craven's got his, and you better hope you're not on it.
I will never understand why they decided to make a Craven movie. A movie about a psychopathic hunter who hunts dangerous game, which just so happens to be superheroes and supervillains, and they turned it into a vigilante movie. Like, so fucking stupid.
Cápsulas.
Hollywood is allergic to just making a villain movies.
Go wait.
Completely allergic.
What a fat boy. What's he doing? What's he getting mad for?
350K a year is a lot,
to lay down.
And he's a side character. Well, you can make him a main character so long as you actually, make him a villain. You can like think about the Predators, right? The Predator movie. The Craven movie should have been a Predator movie with Craven as the lead. That's it.
Both ends,
and he's just fucking hunting villains.
Like, why is that even there?
Thing is
or
that
heroes,
Flippy, You know what Flippy would say?
Should be both.
I'm sorry, dear customer. I love you. I will fix your order right now immediately.
Yeah.
And that's it. Yeah, it won't be an issue. Nobody needs to get harassed.
I think they're just trying to squeeze every penny they can out of the entire experience, and to allow people to do it themselves just makes it quicker and easier for the company.
Do you feel like
Well, if it makes it easier for the company and it makes it easier for the customer, then does the company serve customers or does it serve its employees? It serves customers. If it serves its employees over its customers, it no longer is a company because it's going to go out of business.
At that point, it's a workers' co-op.
Like, these people, again, are just completely fucking delusional.
Yeah.
Enjoy your job?
No, I've worked customer service for 5 years. I don't enjoy this. I'm here for the
Exactly.
paycheck.
This person has been working customer service for 5 years. From her attitude, I highly doubt she's looking for other jobs, for better work, for more skilled labor. I doubt she's like trying to get the skills to do anything more than this. I doubt she's pursuing anything realistic in the sense of, pursuing her real passions. I think she just does this and then goes home and fucking does nothing else with her time.
Exactly, yes. You don't care. You don't give a shit about this. You just want the money.
Yeah.
More profitable.
Yeah, honestly, I don't want to keep watching this because at the end of the day, it's just a bunch of it's just a bunch of crap. I don't see any way, shape, or form where that whole situation ends without every single one of those employees getting phased out. How do co-ops do in the market against corps? Seems like most go bust except for co-op banks. Well, that's about how they go, yeah. Most go bust. That's just the way it is, man. They die out. They die out, man. It's just the way it is.